movies, right? I mean, when people watch movies and they nowadays kids just play games. They're on COD or they're on Fortnite, right? And they think it's like that. Sometimes when I talk about guns, they're like, "Oh yeah, I use that in COD," or I use that and it's not like.
After this, he brought the books too. Look at this stuff.
This is my Quran that I usually carry with me, and this is my Bible that I have all my notes, as people can see.
So what are those notes mainly? Just kind
of. So I started studying the Bible not to debate. A lot of people think that I started this to try to debate with people. No, my original Bible, which I gave away when we hit the 1 million sub, was just me putting my notes when I was in Bible studies, growing up, going to church. And when I found things that didn't make sense or contradicted, I would just put a note and put a sticky. So it kind of developed now. So this whole side is all contradictions.
Wow.
And up here are things that I found to be distasteful, I guess you could say, killing children and all that kind of stuff that people don't sometimes realize is in the Bible. And then down here, these are all things that show that Jesus wasn't God.
Wow.
Even according to the Bible, he was a prophet and a servant of God. And I'll share some of the verses later. So.
Yeah. And did you do the same for the Quran?
I did, yes. So, I mean, I have on this side everything that people bring out to be contradictions or, of course, I mean, researching them, I found there weren't any contradictions. Mm-hmm. Up here are things that I respond to and also things that I found to be miraculous. The bottom here are, which I'm starting out now, more historic prophecies that have come true and so on.
Interesting.
So I've done the same, and I've done that with other scriptures as well. I mean, in my journey, have studied the Gita, the Mahabharata, the writings in Buddhism from, there's a really good author called Suzuki, mm-hmm. not the car, but but the same name, yeah. But I read a lot of his works. I've read the Book of Mormon, mm-hmm. I've read the Book of Abraham, the DNC, the Book of Moses, a lot of the Christian books that are not in the Bible today, I have them all marked up as well.
That's impressive. So you take a pretty objective approach.
I've got a very big library.
Yeah, I'm actually really impressed.
Yeah, I've got, a lot of people flex cars and chains, man, but my library costs a lot more than their cars and chains put together.
I mean, books are knowledge, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I love books. Yeah.
I mean, you're learning about life in these.
Yeah, books and guns. Those are my two favorite things.
Shot shows in town right now.
Yeah, I'm going to be going.
What a mix, books and guns. So you
Second Amendment.
Yeah, you like to read at night and shoot during the day?
There you go.
Well, dude, let's dive into your story for those that don't know, because pretty crazy. Former gang member turned to Islam. Yeah,
so I was born in Pakistan, but I left as a little kid, so I never really lived there. I left to the UK when I was like 6 maybe, mm-hmm. And then I went to school for a couple of years, or a year and a half I was in the UK. Then I got to San Diego when I was around 8 or 9 years old in elementary school. And my family's Pakistani, but at the time, imagine this is the 80s in San Diego, California, SoCal. Nobody knew what a Pakistani was. So when I went to elementary school, it's just basically you were either black, white, or Mexican. I was too dark to be white and too light to be black, so I went Mexican. I never tried to join gangs, and especially for a lot of the young people that are watching. It's not a good life. It's not something you should look forward to. It's not like the videos. It's not like the rappers make it out to be. And I never thought like that. Mm-hmm. My mom was a very hardworking woman. She was working 2 jobs. She had 2 degrees from Pakistan. She had a master's in psychology and a master's in law, but they weren't recognized in the U.S. So she couldn't work to the degree that she was educated to. So just to survive as a single mother, she was out there working in factories, making T-shirts, working as a security guard, as a little Pakistani woman. She was working so hard, amazing woman, very strong woman. So I never thought I want to join gangs or anything like that. I didn't want to be cool. I wasn't trying to make money. I wasn't trying to flex. I wasn't trying to get girls, none of that. Basically, and I just wanted to go to school, get a good education, make my mom proud. But Southern California in the 80s and 90s was, as Ice Cube would describe it, hell on earth, right? It was rough, a lot of gangs, a lot of shootings, a lot of drive-bys. When you go to places, people talk about stabbings were a joke to us, So, it was rough, so I knew a lot of the gangsters, but I didn't get involved. But one of my friends got into a fight, and basically, being Pashtun and all this stuff, being macho, raised like that, I went to help him. Yeah. When I jumped in to help him, he ran. He ran, I got jumped. And when I got jumped, my father, that, my parents were divorced, but my father, when he heard about it, my mom, when she saw me all busted up, she called my father. He came and he was like, I still remember very vividly. He told me, I have 2 questions. 1, did you run? I said, no, I stood my ground. He said, did you cry? I said, no, I didn't cry. He was like, all right, no other questions. That's it. Wow. That's all he cared about. He was a tough guy.
Tough love.
Yeah, tough love. My father was, mashallah, he was firm on that. So he picked up a bat. He got in. He had a big Camaro muscle car. He just said, okay, where are they? So the gangs, there's a gang called Loma Street, Southern California, still around 27th Street. We knew where they were, and my father pulled up, saw the guys, and he jumped out with a bat, cracked one guy's head, and shattered the other guy's shoulder.
Jeez.
Yeah, my dad was tough. The problem was, though, he then drove away to his house in another neighborhood, and I had to go to school the next day. So when I got to school, I still remember it. I was just walking through the hallways, and the kids were like, hey, there's the dead kid. He's going to get killed today. Loma Street gang's going to come and kill him today because his dad just put 2 of them in a hospital. So another gang called Eastside San Diego. This is all part of the Sureño, Southern California, and the 13, as they say, the M network. They said, look, you can fight, you can hold your ground. We've seen you around. You have 2 options. Either you stand on your own, you're going to get killed. They're going to come here today. These gangs have, 5,000, 6,000 standing gang members,
wow.
Right? If you look at gangs like MS-13 or 18th Street, they have 50, 60,000 gang members internationally in El Salvador, Guatemala, Mexico, U.S., across. So these are not like, little 10, 20 people crews. So they said, okay, you're one 12-year-old against a gang that has 5,000 members. You're going to get killed. Or you can join us and we'll back you and you'll survive. So that's how I got into gangs at 12 years of age.
12.
Yeah.
So you think they actually would have killed you?
For sure. What would it, who would stand up for me? The police didn't care.
At 12 years old, they would have killed you.
At 12 years old. Many of my friends around that age got killed.
What?
When I was 14, I saw my first friend get killed, and he got shot. He got his head blown off.
Oh my gosh.
And it's not like the movies, right? When people watch movies and they nowadays kids just play games. They're on COD or they're on Fortnite, right? And they think it's like that. Sometimes when I talk about guns, they're like, oh yeah, I use that in COD, or I use that in and it's not like that. You don't press X and come back to another round. You don't respawn. You don't just come back and play another day. You get shot. That opportunity is over, right? And I have many friends that as a teenager I was burying.
Wow.
That never saw what it feels like to own a smartphone or didn't ever find out what the internet was. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they lost so much, right? So if you're young and you're watching this, like don't go down that path. It's like rappers, most rappers are fake, first off. Mm-hmm. I know a lot of them personally now from being involved in a lot of the higher level influencer stuff, right? A lot of them have never been in a gang, actually been a member of a gang.
Yeah.
Like one thing is you hung out with gang members or you hung out in the hood or you went to clubs or whatever, but that's not being in a gang. When you're a bona fide gang member, jumped in, all of that, that's very different, right? Mm-hmm. And those that are either dead or in jail. There's no retirement plan, right? So when they sit around with like Lambos throwing money around, that's not how the gang life is. That's just not true. It's rough. Every day you go in, you're worried about getting shot, you're worried about getting stabbed. You still have the regular stresses of life. Like I still had to go to school and do homework, but I also had to worry about if another gang's gonna rush down the hallway with 30 guys and bats and smash my head in during lunch, So it's a rough